Well, hey there everybody, it is I, the one and only Maniacal Engineer, and boy do we have a good cast in store for you all today. E3 is right around the corner, and we've already had some big news from Nintendo about upcoming Pokémon games. Of course, before we can start talking about that, I should probably introduce our panel for this discussion, so I shall do that without further ado. First and foremost, joining us from Team Skull is your boy Guzma.
Yo!
Oh, rest in peace, earphone users.
That's quite an introduction.
Your boy Guzma's gotta have a big intro.
Of course. So, what do you do for Bulbagarden?
I moderate Discord.
Perfect. Alright, and next up, making her return to Bulbacast, is our resident Chief of Staff, Evie.
Hey all, glad to be back. You're not done with me.
And we never will be.
No.
Indeed, you learn. That's good.
There's a reason y'all keep me around. Alright, next up, making a return after being absent for a few episodes, it's TeaWest.
Hey guys, hope you all are doing well.
Next up is Glik.
Good evening.
That was some suave to it, man.
Except it's not evening everywhere.
Whoops.
Anyway, and last but certainly not least is Dragon Nataku.
I'm gonna be making a terrible pun and saying good evening.
What? 10 out of 10.
Alright, well,
Someone just bashed their mic with their head.
it wasn't me. Alright, with that done, before we can get into the meat of this discussion, I'd like to remind you all about the Speed Gummers... The Speed Gamer...
The Speed Gummers.
Speed Gummer.
Yes, the Speed Gummers. The Speed Gamers' ongoing Pokemon Marathon for St. Jude's Children's Hospital. It's been going on since June 8th and will continue until the 15th. Definitely tune into that if you haven't already, but only after you've finished listening to this episode of Bulbacast.
You can also catch the Speed Gummers, a live stream of old elderly people trying to gum their food as fast as possible.
Shut your gums, Glick.
I was gonna go with chewing gum competition, but we can go with that.
Chewing gum is really gross. Chewing gum I hate the most.
Alright, before we start blabbing too much about this, why don't we just start talking about this today's topic? Question number 1. What are you looking forward to the most about E3? We'll start with Evie on this one.
Honestly, I think it's the fandom excitement. I'm not that interested in any game. Well, with the obvious exception of Let's Go, Eevee, and Pikachu. But other than that, it's just the whole hype that comes around every year whenever there's an E3. That's fun. Even if there's no particular game you're looking forward to.
Definitely fair. Glick, what about you?
I'm most looking forward to Devil May Cry 5 being announced. Capcom was a very, very leaky boat last year, and several leaks have now pointed out that the game is largely complete.
Huh.
And probably is coming out this year.
That happened last year, too. I feel like a bunch of stuff got leaked before it was actually announced.
Yeah, the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite roster was leaked months early.
Yeah.
Several Monster Hunter things were leaked.
Guzma, what about you?
Well, personally, I'm looking forward to stuff about Kingdom Hearts 3, Mega Man 11, and hoping Bethesda teases Elder Scrolls 6.
I heard some rumors about that, too.
That's not happening.
No, they just announced the new Fallout. There's no Elder Scrolls this year.
Aww.
Yeah.
There should be, but there isn't.
Nope, gotta make that delicious MMO money.
Which sucks, because I don't really care about Fallout. I'm more of a fantasy guy than a post-apocalyptic guy.
Come on, I want Elder Scrolls 6 already.
As long as we get to fight the Thalmor, I want to beat those elf supremacists into the ground.
Yes! Stupid elf Nazis.
Elder Scrolls 6 Thalmor edition.
Where you play as the Thalmor.
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls 6, Punch the Nazis.
Punch the Thalmor.
Nah, they're gonna do a thing where they jump the story 100 years in the future.
Well, okay then.
That would be something.
Just like they did last time.
I doubt it. They just did that. No, they did that last time, but the first 4 were all within a few years of each other. So I see them more likely continuing the story they started with Skyrim.
As long as they don't canonize the Dragonborn killing Parthenax.
Eh,
If they do, I will be angry.
unfortunately, the blades are kind of traditional, so it's probably going to be canonized that the blades still exist. Which means the Dragonborn certainly didn't kill off Delphine and Esbern, which would have been great.
As much as I wish I could have done that.
Yeah, I know. Don't we all?
That's what console commands are for.
I think we're getting a wee bit off topic here. Just a bit.
Yeah, probably.
A wee bit off topic?
Thanks, Glik. Appreciate it, man.
Well, speaking of, it's his turn to answer the question.
So, I'm really interested in hearing about some of the stuff that Nintendo may put out. There's a bunch of stuff they talked about that at the last E3, especially Metroid Prime 4, that we haven't heard anything about. I'd love to learn more about that. I hope they have some new projects that they haven't really talked about yet, if there's anything new or interesting. I'm just, wishful thinking maybe, but hopefully they'll get something new out for the E3. I think Smash Brothers 2, I'm sure they'll be talking a lot about that, especially if it's releasing this year. I feel like they'll probably talk about that too. Octopath Traveler would be great to learn more about. They've already talked a lot about it already, so it's more of a wish or a hope rather than an expectation, but it'd be nice. I think that's probably it for me.
All right. DN, what about you?
Honestly, I'm looking forward to if there will be like a release date announced for Kingdom Hearts 3. I tend to avoid spoilers like the plague because I've only seen one trailer for it, and I don't know anything about it except there's a Toy Story world, so I just want the release date, and that's it.
I mean, when was it first announced? It's been years at this point.
Like 2015?
Really?
No, I'm pretty sure it was announced the year Birth by Sleep came out.
Yeah. I think they said it was going to be made after Nomura finished with Final Fantasy 15 or something.
Back when it was called Versus 13?
Anyway, as for me, as many of you all should know, based on the recently uploaded video game episode of Bulbacast, I really don't play any new games. Most of the games that I play are about a decade or so old, if not older. Like Star Trek Armada and Civilization 3. So I'm pretty much in the same camp as Evie. I'm not looking forward to any game in particular, but E3 is always a good show, and it's always fun to watch, and that's really what I'm looking forward to the most.
You only play old games. Does that mean you're excited for a certain remake of a 20-year-old game coming out this year?
Oh, that's a good question.
We'll get there, but the answer is no.
Aww. Spoilers.
We'll get there, but the answer is definitely Pokemon no.
I thought you said you weren't going to make that fun.
Well, I was set up for it, I'm sorry. Alright, well, we did cover this a little bit with the answering of our first question, but are there any other games in particular that you want to hear about? Now, this is something that you don't necessarily expect is going to be there. This is, if your wildest dreams were to come true, what would you hear about? What would you have? Any of the gaming companies or any of the companies that are participating in E3, what do you want them to talk about? What's on your wish list, as it were? Glik, we'll start with you.
I'd like some more information about the Final Fantasy VII remake.
Oh, yeah.
The last we heard of it, they had completely scrapped the design and were starting from scratch.
Yeah, that's another game I haven't really heard too much about.
Which is insane. And I'd like to just some word where they're going. Any idea how long it's going to take, maybe?
All right. Guzma, what about you?
Maybe a Final Fantasy VI remake?
Yeah.
Like in 3D, and preferably if they can get Mark Hamill to voice Kefka.
Oh my god, that would be perfect.
I know they did a bunch of 3D remakes of those old games. Did they ever do one of Final Fantasy VI?
They only went up to 4.
No, they only went up to 4 for some reason. 5 and 6 haven't been remade.
Not even in Japan?
No?
Like, I'm trying to think of a Kafka line that I'll say in my Mark Hamill imitation. You all sound like pages from a self-help booklet.
Wow, is that the Joker right here in the podcast?
And it fits Kefka beautifully.
Am I playing Arkham City right now? Gee.
That very much evokes the Joker, yes. And again, I find we're getting just slightly off topic, which again is fitting because it's TeaWest's turn to answer the question.
So for me, the big game that I'd love to learn more about is Ace Combat 7. I love that series, and I don't know what Bandai Namco's involvement is going to be at this E3, but it's a series I hold very near and dear to my heart. And they announced the game several years ago. It's been delayed a couple of years. They say it's going to be released in 2018, but we don't even have a release date for it. So that's the game I'm secretly hoping that we get more information about.
Wasn't that originally slated to come out on the 3DS?
No, this one's coming out on its multi-platform console release. There was one game on the 3DS that's Assault Horizon Legacy, which is a companion game to Assault Horizon, which is a PS3 and Xbox game. This is just console and Steam, and it's supposed to have VR compatibility with PlayStation 4.
Nice. All right, DN, what about you?
I don't usually pay attention to E3 because I'm boring. So I don't know what games could possibly be there, but as for a dream announcement, another Zero Escape game. I love those games. They're puzzle games.
I shouldn't be laughing, I'm sorry.
But they're great.
You live the dream.
Again, the point of this question is to go a little crazy, and I'll definitely be doing so with my answer when we get around to me. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be something you think is possible. It's just something that you want to hear about.
Like, they're puzzle games, and I really, 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 really want a new one.
Yeah.
I doubt they're going to release one anytime soon, since they usually have, 3 to 4 years between the games, and the last one just came out in 2016, but still.
Yeah, aren't those usually announced at, PSX or some Japanese thing?
I don't know. I just want to hear some news about it. Anywhere. I don't care where.
As for me, in my absolute wildest dreams, I would love to hear about either a Mother 3 worldwide release or a remake.
Yes.
Oh, that was going to be my answer for question 3. No.
Well, that's the difference between question 2 and question 3 is question 3 should be somewhat possible because it's a dark horse candidate, which means that it's in the race.
Oh.
But question 2 is essentially the realm of absolute fantasy, and it's a valid answer for both. But it's my absolute wildest dream. As I mentioned in the video game episode that was just recently uploaded to YouTube, Mother 3 was one of my favorite games of all time, and really there hasn't been anything done with that series since Mother 3.
It's also one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah, it's a fantastic game. So
Well, they don't need to remake it. They have Undertale coming to the Switch.
Undertale is not Mother. Definitely not. So let's just move on to question 3, which is if you had to pick one dark horse candidate for a game or a franchise that you think we're going to hear about at E3, which one do you think it will be? We're going to start with Guzma on this one.
I don't know. Maybe Zelda or something, like whatever the next Zelda after Breath of the Wild is.
I can see that happening.
And then they delay it for 5 years.
TeaWest, what about you?
My answer was Mother 3, for the same reasons that you said. So I don't have a whole lot to add. I love that game. Hope it comes out soon, because I will buy it immediately. I don't even have a Switch, but if it came out on the Switch, I would buy it.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there. I do not yet have a Switch, and as things are going, I'm not planning on getting one until at least late 2019. But if a Mother 3 worldwide release or remake was to come out, I would go for it. I mean, you'd almost have to be crazy not to. But then I'm the one with Maniacal in my name, so I'm not one to talk. All right, Glik, what about you?
I think there's a pretty decent possibility of Capcom announcing a Marvel vs. Capcom follow-up after Infinite's awful failure.
Yeah.
Whether it's like just a updated release, which I don't think would sell that well, but Capcom has been making a lot of bad decisions the last couple of years, or if it's something entirely new, but I think there's going to be something with that property.
All right. As for me, my dark horse candidate is I want to hear about Pokemon 2019. It's not gonna happen because they just made their recent announcement, and I don't know if there actually have been major Pokemon announcements at E3. But yeah, again, I'm hoping for something. It's probably not going to happen. Personally, I'm hoping for a title drop, and I'm hoping that the games are going to be called Pokemon You and Me. I would find that to be fantastic.
Which one would you get then?
You.
Gee, I wonder. Yes, of course I would get you.
Pokemon Guzma sounds good.
That's the. See, asking me which version I would get between Pokemon You and Me is like asking DarthWolf, does he want to be a Jedi or a Sith? And yet I did that anyway. So, I mean, I guess it's it's not a bad question. It's one with a very, very obvious answer. I would go Pokemon Me all the way. And it would be one that I'd complete, too. Like, my track record lately, Gen 6, I didn't finish any of the games. I have not finished Ultra Moon, so my track record lately has not been great, but
Pokemon.
I would finish Pokemon Me.
No, I said poke me.
Don't poke me.
Anyway.
Don't poke me. All right, and this is kind of devolving into poking jokes. So we're still waiting for Evie to fix her mic issues. In the meantime, we will move on to question 4, and Evie will just have to catch up. So question number 4 is, what do you think the highlights of the Nintendo presentations are going to be, aside from the Splatoon 2 tournament that we already know about? Let's start with DN on this one.
Well, I'm sure they'll go on forever about Smash, as will the fans. The only Smash game I've played is Melee, so I'm not really a big, huge Smash fan.
Melee.
I can't speak English. Come on.
My favorite is Raoul.
Yo no hablo inglés.
But Melee's French.
It's so Saph would be able to pronounce it even if he can't pronounce Oasis.
Oiseau?
Wazzes.
All right.
Poor Saph.
Well, unfortunately he's not even going to get his chance to rebut since the EU has already recorded. And the EU has already recorded.
He's not here to defend himself, so we'll so wrecked.
So, I guess it's not bad to reference previous continuity. But yeah, so Smash is I agree. Smash is probably going to be there. Glik, anything to add?
No, probably just gonna be mostly Smash, maybe some Metroid Prime, maybe.
Hopefully.
And probably some smaller stuff.
All right. Guzma, what about you?
It's probably going to be Smash. Maybe some Metroid Prime or that Star Fox racing game. Probably some Pokemon Let's Go.
What about that Yoshi game that was teased at last E3? I wonder if we'll talk about that at all.
I don't even remember there being a Yoshi game being teased.
I just remember it was called Yoshi.
It was just called, and it was the same time that they announced Kirby. And Kirby's out already, but they haven't said anything about that Yoshi game.
Yoshi!
Maybe we'll bring it up.
Just doing my best Yoshi imitation.
Well, I can tell you're going to be fun to have in Bulbacast episodes, Guzma. Definitely going to have you around very often.
He can be our soundboard if we need a Yoshi.
Oh, yes. Or a Joker.
Yep.
Very, very talented.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right.
We just need some stingers. Just bring them in. Oh, yeah. You know, something like that. We'll make it work.
Can you do a Colossus yell, though?
Can I do a what yell?
A Colossus yell.
Like Aaron?
Who?
Colossus yell? Are you talking about... Oh, wait, no. I'm thinking of Attack on Titan. But Colossus yell, like from Deadpool?
Yes, like the X-Men character. It's a meme from, like, the late 90s.
Oh, like that Colossus.
Oh, no.
Well, it's not relevant to this conversation, so we'll move on. TeaWest, I don't know why or how we get derailed every time it's your turn to answer a question, but
I don't know.
it's your turn to answer the question.
Well, I think everything has already been said about this. Definitely Smash. Metroid Prime would be great. Pokemon, if they end up doing it. I feel like with Pokemon, they usually have their own direct for that. So I don't know how much they'll talk about. I feel like they should. I don't want to say that, but they announced this game, 2-3 weeks beforehand. I'm sure people would be wondering about it and interested in learning more. So they might touch on it a little bit. But yeah, I think everything's already been said for me. So
All right, and as for me, my only guess was Smash, and I mentioned hopefully there's no more focus on Mario Tennis Aces because we got more than enough of that in the recent Direct.
Oh, that hasn't even come out yet, has it?
I don't know. I don't think it has, but
For some reason, I thought it had already come out because it just kind of fell off my radar.
yeah, no.
They could talk about that too.
I mean, they focused so much. That was the highlight of their Direct at the beginning of March. I really don't know if there's anything else they want to say about it or anything else anyone wants to hear about it before buying it.
Oh, they'll talk about Sushi Striker at the E3. I'm calling it.
I think that would... they might talk about it. I don't know if it's going to be a highlight.
Sushi Striker for Smash. Bring him in.
Well, I mean, I guess part of what they're going to do with Smash is go over some new characters or what have you that are going to be showing up this time, but...
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, hopefully they'll bring in more things than Splatoon. I'm really interested in just learning what kind of Smash game it is. Is it going to be 4.5? Is it going to be a new game? Really interested to see where they're going to take it,
Yeah.
So I guess we'll find out.
I guess we will. Alright, I covered everyone for this question? Alright, we're going to get into our other material for this episode without my main foil being present. So
Did you plan this out?
I may not get fired this time after all.
I think you sabotaged her mic to keep her from...
I did not sabotage. I did not sabotage. No. I was...
Nice try. We know what happened.
Sabotage.
I was counting on her to be my foil.
Right.
Yeah. As we've already mentioned a few times in this particular recording, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee are now official. And they have connectivity with Pokemon Go. So, what are your thoughts on this? We'll start with TeaWest this time before the conversation can get derailed.
So, I don't really know what the connectivity is going to look like because the trailer, from what I remember, it was called a park when they transferred the game into the Switch. It looked like it was some kind of additional feature, maybe something they're going to add in on the side. I just feel like it would be very... maybe difficult to integrate them fully together because Pokemon Go is just, I don't know, a different beast altogether. So I'm not sure.
No, it's still Pokemon, so it's the same beasts.
Well, true, but the way that you catch, like, hundreds of creatures in Pokemon Go, and it's easier to get shinies, it's easier to get perfects, and I just don't know how that's going to work. So that'll be interesting. And I know they're going to put in a lot of connectivity with the games. They had that, teaser about this special Pokemon that's going to be available in Go through some action that you take in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Not sure what that will be, but I'm sure that will be cool. So I think they'll do a good job with it, and I like the idea. I guess I just don't know enough about it to really be able to make a well-informed decision, I guess.
From what I can tell, like you were saying about transferring Pokemon from Go to Let's Go, it's going to be similar to transferring Pokemon, say, from Gen 3 to Gen 4, where you don't transfer them directly into your party. You've got this Pal Park-esque thing where you go in and you catch them that way.
Right.
But this is me not ranting, so I'm not going to say anything else about it.
Apparently I'm back just in time to you not rant. I hope this will last.
Yay!
Curses, my plan failed. Alright, I guess I am getting fired after all.
Well, we're glad you're back.
Well, we are glad to have you back.
And I'm glad to be back.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so DN, what about you?
I mean, I was kind of hoping it'd be like the VC games and Gen 7, where it was literally just, you can bring Pokemon over from the VC games. The end. I do think it's kind of super cheaty that people can just import their entire deck into Let's Go. I mean...
Well, not their entire decks, just the Kanto Pokemon.
Well, yeah, but it's still the entire 151 if you have all of them.
Right, so could you give yourself a Dragonite before you even get the Brock?
Yeah.
Like, how would that even work?
I mean, I don't know.
I feel like that's a balancing issue, They'd have to bring it back somehow.
It's entirely possible that the transfer system won't be accessible until later in the game.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
If it's a park location, it's going to be in a specific location in the game, so you might not get there until, I don't know, Eureka or...
Come to think of it, if it is going to be a park, what about the Safari Zone?
Well, we'd like to have the actual Safari Zone in the Safari Zone, but if they want to add a park to the Safari Zone, maybe, yeah.
And it's not like the regular games don't have some sort of block to that. They just have the Pokemon disobey you.
Also that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think of it as like the Pokewalker, almost. Where you take it in a separate place and it can interact, but it's not a full-fledged. That's where I'm leaning towards.
Yeah, I must admit, I do kind of like the use a Pokeball as a Joy-Con and throw it to catch Pokemon gimmick.
I do like that, yeah.
And I'm totally a sucker for the idea that the Pokeball controller thingy is kind of like the Pokewalker, where you could just bring a Pokemon with you when you walk around.
I don't know if they're going to introduce, if they're still going to have you weaken the opponent Pokemon and it makes it easier to catch.
No, they said there is no wild battling whatsoever.
You don't even battle with them at all when you interact with them?
Honestly, I like it better that way.
How do you, I guess I don't know how you would train them then.
You have to fight in the trainers, apparently.
And gain experience.
Or Stardust.
Hopefully, though, they would actually, make sure that trainers are repeatable.
Also, Gen 7 did introduce giving XP for catching Pokemon.
Yeah, probably catching for Pokemon.
That's what they're doing, yeah.
It
I
did.
think Gen 6 introduced that, though.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I don't remember. We don't talk about Gen 6.
We just did.
Ouch.
We just did. All right, Evie, welcome back. What about you?
Well, obviously, I mean, it had to happen. Go is just too big not to connect to the main to some main series like game at some point. They had to do it at some point. Personally, I would have preferred to see it happen with an actual main release game. I mean,
No.
No.
yeah, you're just jealous because I have a large collection of Pokemon Go and you don't.
Oh, shade.
Except TeaWest actually does have a big one. But I mean, it's a logical step, and they're going to need to take this further because right now it will only be the Kanto Pokemon, and Johto is already way past that. We're already up to the Alolan. Well, there's been Alolan Executor. We're getting the Alolan forms too. And after that, it won't be long before we get Sinnoh.
I think we also have Hoenn. Yeah, you just said that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did just say that. So, yeah.
Yeah, always this Kanto stuff comes in delays, Sinnoh.
Quit your whining.
Oh.
I'm not whining, I'm stating fact.
I think I'm gonna say that a lot this evening.
Yeah, well. Alright.
I mean, Sinnoh will get its turn in Pokemon Go. It will get it pretty soon, actually. I'd expect September or so. I mean, there's just the three golems left to go for the legendaries, so count 1 month for each. That brings us to September. I expect we'd start getting Sinnoh around then. Which would be nice, because getting a new generation not in the middle of winter would actually be an upgrade.
What's winter?
It's a thing Niantic doesn't know about either.
Yeah, instead we just have super summer here and I can't go outside at all.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it was something that had to happen, and I guess it's hard to judge how it's done without having the specifics, which we don't. So
Yeah.
I would say it was inevitable. I wouldn't say it had to happen.
I would say it had to happen, because you can't ignore something as big as Pokemon Go still is. I'm not even talking about how big it was. I'm talking about how big it is now. You just can't ignore that.
I mean, you can ignore it, but it probably wouldn't be the smart move.
No, it's just completely ludicrous as an idea. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much my thought on the matter.
Alright, Glik, what about you?
I think people who like Go will like it. That's about it.
Yay!
Short and to the point. Guzma, what about you?
I think it's inoffensive because it's just a spin-off, and I'm glad they're doing this in a spin-off and not a core series type. Well, not a mainline game. It's still core series, but it's not mainline, you know?
I thought they were one and the same.
No, it's explicitly been stated several times.
Oh, no, not that debate.
Yeah, they said it was a main series game.
They've said several times that it's not.
There's a supercut of them saying it 20 times within the press conference.
Saying 20
I think it's a core series game, but it's not like Gen 8, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's not Gen 8.
They've confirmed it's not Gen 8.
Didn't Masuda himself say that it's not a main series game?
No, he did not.
They said that, and then they said the exact opposite of that, and then they mostly say the exact opposite of that. But they did say that too.
I trust Masuda more than one of the executives.
Masuda doesn't take interviews in English, so I don't care what the interviews say he said.
Well, I guess that'll be a question, or that will be an issue we can talk about with question number 8. Meantime, we're still on question number 5, and I believe it's my turn.
Dun dun dun.
I have been looking forward to this for a very, very long time. Those of y'all who have seen me ranting on Discord know exactly what's coming. So sit back, relax, and let the hate flow through you.
And enjoy the show.
No, let the hate flow through you.
Boo.
Good.
The Emmy Hate Show. Hate.
First of all, there were only 2 things that I liked about Go to begin with. The first was that Pokemon Go got popular enough to be referenced in the 2016 Doctor Who Christmas special, The Return of Dr. Mysterio. And the second was all of the stupid and funny stories we were getting literally every day of Pokemon Go-related mishaps during the height of its popularity. Moving on, as any of you who watched either the Twitch streaming or YouTube video of the May the 4th episode should know, from my opinion on The Force Awakens, I hate blatant pandering and sellouts, and to me this does both. I'll focus on the sellout aspect for now. By including Pokemon Go aspects in these games, Nintendo is trying to attract more casual players into the Pokemon franchise. While I admit this is a good financial tactic for Nintendo to take, It's definitely catering to a different crowd than the more hardcore Pokemon players, and based on what I've seen so far, it's taking a game that's already easy and making it even easier. I really don't foresee this being good for the franchise, because if there is an influx of newer, more casual players, then there will be a shift towards more simplified mechanics and gameplay as the new players learn more about the games. X and Y and Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire were already boring enough, and I really don't need Pokemon Go mechanics for catching Pokemon, battles, or any of that in my game. And I'd prefer for the levels, I'd prefer if the games got more difficult, as I've said in the USUM reaction episode. So that's pretty much it. That's why I really don't like the Go connectivity. That's why I don't like catering to the Go crowd.
I like the idea of throwing the Pokeball. I think that's more immersive than just pressing a button.
Yeah.
That's just me.
And me.
That's me too.
That's one of my favorite aspects of Pokemon Go. Just a little throwing minigame. I've done it thousands of times, but I still really enjoy it, and I like that part of these games.
Don't worry, Amy just wants us to get off his lawn.
I'd like the Pokeball throwing mechanic more if you didn't lose your Pokemon, or the Pokeball after you threw it and missed.
Well, you do that in the...
Well, that happens in the main game, too.
I was going to say, that happens in the main game, too.
No, they break out of it. They actually go through the chance of... Like, it runs the catch mechanic and it says you fail. I'm talking about completely missing the Pokemon and still losing the ball.
Well, that they did in Gen 1, so I expect to see that in a Yellow remake. Like, literally, there were times in Gen 1 when you threw a Pokemon... Oh, no, you missed the Pokemon. I'm glad they didn't bring that back.
But I thought that they replaced that with the shaking mechanic in Gen 2.
No.
It was either automatic catch or fail.
Nope, shaking was already in Gen 1.
Shaking was definitely in Gen 1. I believe it was Legendary and Safari Pokemon that you could actually miss the Pokemon entirely. Unless you did some kind of status condition on them, which again was really silly, not something I missed, and apparently it's in Pokemon Go, which is another reason to dislike it. Now, I will say, using the Joy-Con to actually throw your Pokeball, that sounds nice, but at least give me regular main series battling mechanics when I'm battling a wild Pokemon.
I get why you want them, but personally, I feel that it's actually one of the things Go improved on compared to the main series. Like, this is supposed to be a series about friendship with the Pokemon. So naturally, you spend most of your time beating up wild Pokemon.
And yet you make them battle each other.
That makes perfect sense. Except not.
If the point of the game is friendship, why battle any Pokemon against any Pokemon to begin with?
Well, it's certainly the relationship between trainer and Pokemon. That's the point that's being highlighted in most of the games, actually. Except that the mechanism of, oh yeah, you have to... Here's a wild Pokemon. It's attacking you. Because, I don't know, I guess it wants to attack you. I hate to break it to people, but if you step in tall grass in a field near your place, you're not going to get 10 wild creatures jumping at you within 5 minutes.
I beg to differ.
Okay, mosquitoes don't count.
Mosquitoes count.
What about gators?
No, I'm talking about the snakes and gators and wild hogs and bobcats and mountain lions.
Yeah.
Okay, in Florida it might happen, and in Australia it would happen. But most of us are not in Florida or Australia. Sorry, DN, sorry, Archaic.
Most of the world does seem to be in Florida at one time of the year or another.
Spring break, baby.
No, thankfully it's far from that.
TeaWest wants to go to Key West.
Yeah, you know it. Haven't been there in a long time.
So that's part one of my rant of why I don't like the idea of the Pokemon Let's Go games. But because I'm so excessively negative, let's move on to question number 6, which is, given what we've seen about the new upcoming Pokemon Let's Go games, what are you most looking forward to about these games? And we're going to start with Guzma on this one.
Nothing really.
An excellent way to start out positive.
Damn, this is turning into the hate cast.
I could not have said it better myself.
I mean, I don't hate it. It's just not really something I care about.
All right. TeaWest, are these games more your cup of tea?
Well, I really don't know enough about them to say whether I'm going to like them or not. I like the idea of the throwing thing, which I already talked about. I like the idea of the Pokemon in, real space, no random encounters. It could be cool. They may overload with just Pokemon everywhere, and it might be kind of weird looking. Like in the trailer, there were like 3 Geodude and 2 Zubat just all flying all over the place. So I don't know how that will shake out in the actual game. But I like the concept. I have not revisited Kanto in a long time, so for me, it'll be fun to do that. But that mileage will vary based on how much you like Kanto. So there are things that I am looking forward to. But I just don't know.
And that was the question. That was the question, is what are you looking forward to?
Yeah. I guess I said that.
Deanne, what about you?
Oh man. Like, I love Eevee and Eeveelutions, so I'm really looking forward to having Eevee with me. Even if it can't evolve, I guess that's the one good thing about bringing Pokemon in from Go, because I have, like, an army of Eeveelutions in there, so I could just choose whichever Eeveelution I want for my fighting party.
Boom.
Still have a cute...
An ARM Eevee?
Yes, an army Eevee.
But they can only be the first 3.
I was going to say your only options are Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon, which are still good options.
And I have, like, 10. I have, like, 10 of them.
What about Charmeleon?
And Charmeleon.
You know that's not an evolution.
And Luminion. What?
Luminion is not Kanto.
That's not Gen 1. Neither is Empoleon.
And Empoleon, yep. Bring it.
And I'm so looking forward to having walking Pokemon back again. I loved that in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and I have been waiting since then to get them back. I remember playing XY and seeing Karina with her 2 Lucario following her and just being so mad that she was the only one who got walking Pokemon.
I agree. That'll be cool in the way they have you able to ride a lot of them. And not just having them follow you. You get to ride a bunch of them.
Yep.
Which was something I kind of didn't like too much about Sun and Moon, is that it's just one, you know what I mean? You only ride a Lapras or a Sharpedo or whatever. You can't ride your Pokemon. You've got to just pull out some random Charizard out of who knows where.
Yeah.
And that's what you use to fly.
Yeah, I hated that part.
Some random Tauros that doesn't care what island you're on is going to show up anyway, because Tauros can swim.
Yes, be like, hey, heard you wanted to ride fast. Here I am.
I just want to point out that the Pokemon Center demonstrates that it's possible to instantly transport Pokemon between locations in the Pokemon world. So how is it?
That's been a thing since Gen 1. They break down into data, because they're all apparently computer programs.
No, Porygon is the computer program. Pokemon are just convertible into digital file.
Basically, it's teleportation.
I assume they were, like, when they say register into your Pokerider, I just assumed they were in the Pokerider. Like, you press a button and poof, they come out of the Pokeride.
But then what about everybody else who needs one?
I think more likely that they just teleport to you when you call them.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, beam me up.
And, like, conspiracy theories about...
Well, now we're just getting into speculation about something else entirely. I can do Pokemon conspiracy theories, but we'll save that for another day. Right now, Evie, it's your turn.
Anyhow, I am certainly looking forward to see what Kanto actually looks like in, well, basically on a modern console. The last time we had a Kanto game, like not Kanto thrown in as an afterthought in the Johto games, was 14 years ago. It was on the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
I really want to see what Kanto's going to look like with modern graphics.
From what they showed, it looked pretty good.
So yeah, it did. And the characters, I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing them, well, we've seen Oak briefly, but the rest of them in on modern graphics because
I think I'll definitely miss the more organic layouts of stuff like Alola, which was very winding. Because it's Gen 1, it'll probably feel a little more grid-like than something like Alola. But
Yeah.
that's possible. But since it's a remake, they might also make some changes too. So we'll see.
right, yeah.
It doesn't look like it. Every shot from the trailer was from the same front-facing camera direction.
True.
There was no alternate camera things that they did in Lola.
I guess we'll have to see. Because they showed what, Route 1, Mount Moon, and Fuchsia and Vermilion City was the two that I can think of.
They didn't show much, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what Kanto looks like and with good graphics. Because let's face it, even by GBA standards, the Fire Red Leaf Green graphics were not exactly the best.
Yeah,
Fire Red and Leaf Green weren't that good in general, in my opinion.
I'd still play them over Red, Blue, and Yellow any day.
True.
Any day.
That's a discussion for another day. But yeah, what else? Well, obviously, I mean, with my name, I'm looking forward to Eevee as a starter. That goes without saying. I don't know if I'm looking forward to bringing over any specific Pokemon from Go.
If you wanted Eevee as a starter, that's been available since XD Gale of Darkness. Just saying.
Yeah, but that means you have to play XD Gale of Darkness.
Yeah, but I don't play games that require me to sit down in one spot and get bored watching the TV. Like I haven't played an actual console game. Okay, Anyway, I haven't played an actual console game in a long time because I just can't sit down long enough and be in front of the TV to play one. So, yeah. So, definitely not going to play XD or
Alright, that's fair.
or Colosseum. So, nope.
Glik, what about you?
I'm looking forward about how easy it's going to be to get all this information on Bulbapedia. The Switch has been cracked. It's Kanto, so we don't have to do anything new. I think this is just going to be a really easy year.
Yay.
Woo.
Also plug for Bulbapedia.
So you say, Glik, watch something else happen now.
Just watch her entire system melt down again like last year.
Yeah, I think, Glik, I would fire you for saying that, but I think Kogoro has dibs on that one. I will consult with Kogoro to see if you should be fired.
Dun dun dun.
Got one.
Alright, anyway. As for me, I'll keep this short and sweet. I'm not looking forward to anything about the games themselves, but I am looking forward to whatever data they can give Nintendo and Game Freak to improve the 2019 main series games. That's something useful. Yeah?
At least that's something.
It's something useful. Hey, try to be slightly positive.
I know. I could hear you straining to get that one positive thing out, right?
Yeah, I mean, that was surprisingly positive coming from you.
Good job. Golf clap.
We haven't gotten to question 7 yet.
I spoke too soon.
Nobody's been fired yet either.
Well, like I said, we haven't gotten to question 7 yet. Also, you did say that you had to consult about firing Glik about his answer, so it's half a fire.
We're at half. Half a fired already.
Yeah, well, unfortunately Kogoro is offline right now.
Alright. Question number 7. What have you seen so far that you don't like or are apprehensive about from the Let's Go games?
I don't know why you need a long answer for that, Emmy. I thought your answer was pretty obvious. Everything.
I have to elaborate. You know me. I can't. I don't do one word answers.
No, you really don't need to. That's okay. All the things. That's 3 words.
Evie, we'll start with you on this one.
I am a little bit concerned about the throwing mechanism because we've seen a lot about using the Joy-Con for throwing, but Like I've mentioned, I prefer playing my game in handheld mode. And yeah, I'm definitely apprehensive about how the game is going to handle handheld mode.
Well, the touchscreen still works.
Yeah, that's definitely an option, and if it's like Pokemon Go, I will definitely be all for that. But yeah, I want to see how that works, and I'm slightly apprehensive about that.
Is the Switch bulky to hold in one hand and use the touchscreen with your other hand? Because I feel like that's kind of bulky with the Wii U.
It's not heavy.
No, it's not.
It's not. It's not bulky. Okay.
It's not too heavy. It's probably doable. Yeah, I think that's the big apprehension I have right now. Is there anything else? I don't know. Nothing that really comes to mind. I mean, we don't know that much about the game yet, so it's hard to be apprehensive about that much.
Yeah.
Now, of course, Emmy is going to prove that there's a lot to be apprehensive about, but that's when you're curmudgeon, which I'm not.
That's just the fear of the unknown.
I don't fear unknown. Unknown, first of all, is not in the game. Second of all, it's one of the most worthless Pokemon out there.
Third of all, it's a Pokemon Go game, so nobody's going to have unknowns anyway.
Also true.
Nice one.
Alright, Glik, what about you?
I don't actually like the graphical style. It looks like Gen 6. It doesn't look like Gen 7. The main characters are more chibified. Everything looks like bouncier or rounder. It doesn't look like the more realistic Gen 7. And Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, I hated that graphical style.
Me neither.
It made the world look tiny.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
Yeah.
But I did love the way they did Gen 7, though. For the most part. There were some misses.
I'm fairly neutral on that. I mean, it's not my favorite graphic style, but
True.
it's way better than any graphic style we've ever had for Kanto.
I'm also a bit worried about the progression balancing. If there's no wild Pokemon in the battle, how are you supposed to level grind?
I think they already stated that you level grind by catching.
That sounds awful.
That was something we speculated here. I don't think they've explicitly said that yet. And like Click said, if that is how you level grind, that does sound awful.
Hmm.
Like, that only works in Go because Pokeballs are free.
Yeah,
I don't know how I feel about that.
pretty much, yeah.
Well, maybe Pokeballs will be free in this game, too.
Yay.
They'll just have Pokestops in the game.
Free stuff. I like free stuff. I'm a hoarder.
Yay! They'll make Oak's Lab a gym, and you gotta, join the team
Oh, boy.
and all that fun stuff.
Guzma, what about you?
I don't like that it's pandering to Gen 1 purists.
Definitely, yeah.
I mean,
Ooh.
I don't know, I've just really soured on Gen 1, partly because it's so overexposed, and frankly, when a franchise starts pandering to nostalgia like that, it usually ends poorly, like with He-Man or G.I. Joe.
You just don't like that they don't have Golisopod in the game.
Will you stop? Don't undermine his opinion. It's a very valid opinion.
I don't like that there aren't that many good bug-type Pokemon aside from Pinsir, Scyther, and Venomoth.
Well, they gotta make a third game called Let's Golisopod, and then they'll fix it.
That's true.
Yeah.
And we went there.
And it wasn't me that went there either.
Doesn't Kabuto count anyways?
No.
Huh?
No, Kabuto's Water Rock.
It's still like a whatever you call it.
Arthropod, yeah. I mean, not all arthropods are bug types, but Kabuto is pretty cool.
That's something.
All right. TeaWest, what about you?
So I mentioned some of my reservations with the Go integration, but who knows what that's going to look like and when they're going to put it in and how it's going to shake out. So, I guess we'll see. I agree with the whole leveling up and training and all that. I'm also a little apprehensive if it will have the same story as the Gen 1 games, which is like nothing. I don't want to say nothing, but pretty light on the story.
Yeah.
And, I would say Pokemon's never really been known for its story, with a few exceptions.
Black and White had story.
With a few exceptions.
Black and White and Sun and Moon did well.
Black 2 and White 2 did well. Not as good as Black and White, but Black 2 and White 2 still did well.
Platinum did well too, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't play Pokemon for the story. Let's just say that. And Gen 1 is at the bottom of the barrel as far as story goes. So I'm apprehensive about that.
That's fair. It's definitely not a game that we'll be looking at for story, I feel, but...
I think XY is worse just because it tried to have a story, but it bungled it on so many levels.
And failed miserably.
Yeah, I'd rather not have a story than have a failure of a story like Gen 6 or the original Gen 3 story.
I have the same feelings about Black and White.
We said that?
Glik.
Glik, you know what happens now?
Yeah, he's fired.
Yep, you are.
Hey.
Nope, it's happening.
Well, I'm glad this happened before my answer to the question.
Isn't this the second time I fire you for dissing Black and White?
Yes.
On Bulbacast, I mean? Yeah, I thought it was.
It's a new record.
All right, so DN, what about you?
I don't like that we can't battle wild Pokemon. I mean, they could still just do all the Go mechanic stuff once you choose Pokeball during battle. I don't see why they need to take out battling wild Pokemon altogether.
See, that's what I was saying earlier.
And as much as there is Kanto nostalgia, Johto is still my favorite region. I'm kind of hoping that in the same way that they periodically release newer gen Pokemon for Go, that they'll add new regions as time goes on, along with the Pokemon for that region. I think that would be kind of cool.
I don't think that's really feasible if it's a physical card. Those would be pretty big expansions.
That's true.
That would be awesome.
I'm also worried that I didn't hear anything about trading Pokemon. So are there no version exclusives this time?
Yeah, they would.
Or is it like Go's regional Pokemon where you just kind of sit out of luck if you don't live where they were or could travel to find them?
I don't think they're version exclusives because you can get anything you need pretty much from Go.
I'm pretty sure they later clarified in a text interview that there was going to be like regular online features of trading and stuff.
Yeah, I've seen both claims and I am waiting and seeing.
All right, so is it my turn again?
No.
I think I've gone through all of you, so it's my turn. All right, so basically, Guzma started what I was going to say with the Gen 1 Kanto Pokemon pandering. But let's dive into that a little more, shall we? So like I said...
No, I would rather we didn't.
Well, too bad, I'm going to anyway.
Yeah, I figured you would, but,
And again, I wouldn't mind it if it happened and this wasn't a consistent pattern for 2.5 generations now. Because it's been started since Generation 6. With the Kanto starters all getting Mega Evolutions, Charizard even getting 2, and I like Charizard. Charizard is one of my favorite Pokemon, and so is Mewtwo. And they're the only Pokemon that have gotten 2 Mega Evolutions. The Kanto starters pretty much outshined the Kalos starters in the Kalos starters' own game. All of the Alola forms that we got in Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon were all Kanto Pokemon. There are more than just 151 Pokemon that exist now. Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, Unova, Kalos, and Alola, they've all had good Pokemon released with their games.
I was expecting you to skip over Kalos there.
Kalos still has 1 or 2 that I like.
It has a lot of Pokemon I like.
Pokemon's definitely had a few good Pokemon.
I don't like the games themselves.
I mean, Fennekin's probably my second favorite fire starter. So there's that.
I do like some of the Pokemon that were introduced in X and Y. So I'll give them that. But again, it's again, these 151 Pokemon, the first 151 Pokemon get all of the attention. They really do. And, Eevee, I know you've argued that Kanto hasn't gotten as much focus, but it has. It appeared in Generation 1 and Generation 3 as a main region. It appeared in Generation 2 and Generation 4, yes, as a post-game. But that means that it's the region that's appeared literally in the most generations out of any other Pokemon region that we've had. 4 generations, and there are only 7 generations that we've had. And now it's showing up in Gen 7.
And it hasn't appeared at all since Generation 4, which is something that's true of only 3 regions.
Yeah, neither has Sinnoh, and that's, that hasn't had one remake yet. Sinnoh's only appeared in the one generation that it had, its debut generation.
And Sinnoh will get its turn. I mean, that's a given.
It probably will, but the fact that it gets delayed by this is yet another reason why I'm annoyed by it.
It isn't getting delayed, it will be getting its turn in Gen 8 anyway.
So you say. I'll believe it when I see it.
I mean, Gen 4 had a remake, Gen 5 didn't. Gen 6 had a remake, Gen 7 didn't. It's pretty obvious at this point that even generations get remake, odd generations don't.
Except Gen 1 did get remade.
Except Gen 7.
And Gen 3 got a remake.
Gen 7 is getting a remake.
No, I mean, I don't say that. I'm not talking about which generation get remade. I'm talking about which generation have remakes in them.
Gen 3 had a remake in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 3, 4, 6, 7.
Yeah, that was the only exception, though.
It's not a rule if there's an exception.
5 has been the only one that's broken the pattern.
And 7.
These are the remakes for 7.
Although this technically, true.
They're not normal remakes. I mean, it's going to be in Gen 8. That's obvious.
But in any case, I'm still mid-rant here.
Yeah, I'll let you go back to your rant.
So, again, we're not quite clear, is this going to be a remake or a sequel? But either way, we know that it's based off of Pokemon Yellow. And I'm not going to be obtuse enough to say that everything that Pokemon Let's Go does, Yellow can do except better. I made that argument with A New Hope versus The Force Awakens, but in the case of video game technology actually does evolve. And that is very much so a good thing. I'm glad that I don't have to use the link cable anymore. I'm glad that I get to trade and battle with people around the world. I'm glad that the item inventory is infinite, TMs have infinite use, and HMs are obsolete at this point. What I don't like is revisiting and redoing the same thing over and over and over again. Remakes that improve on the old game, keeping the good aspects of the game, and improving on the bad parts are great. For example, like I've said, I really do want to see the Sinnoh remake. And what I want from it is I want it to keep the Platinum storyline, because that's the story that makes the most sense and has the most character development for Cyrus. But mechanical issues with the game, like the slowness of walking, slogging through snow, and other things like that, can be improved upon. Even some of the good things about the game can be made better, like the distortion world. It can be in actual 3D models instead of being, put into a 2D world, even if the original models for it were 3D. This, though...
They're kind of like a 2.5D sort of thing.
Sort of, but not quite. This would be the full 3D experience for the distortion world.
Yeah.
And really...
Right.
I can't come up with a single good reason for this game to exist. It does absolutely nothing for me. And I guess the other thing that really crosses my mind is that assuming that they're sticking with the Pokemon Yellow plot, your starter Pikachu isn't going to evolve. And I'm wondering, will the Eevee evolve?
No, that's been pretty much confirmed that Eevee would not evolve, but that there will be wild Pikachu and wild Eevee that can be caught that will evolve.
Well, in that case, what's the point of the starter Pikachu and the starter Eevee?
Dressing up.
Why Why would you have a start... Why...
The sweet costumes.
No. Again, frivolous, not necessary. Pointless details.
Well, that's what everyone loves about Pokemon, the pointless details they add. Like walking Pokemon.
I bet there are people who love that.
There probably are. In fact, there almost certainly are, and I do fully acknowledge that in a lot of ways I'm in the minority when it comes to opinion. But, again, Pokemon outfits are useless. Even getting to select my own outfit, yeah, I suppose trainer customizability is okay, but it's not something that I'd go out of my way to have. And, again, I don't understand what the point of having an Eevee, which is known as the evolution Pokemon, and its entire gimmick is its many evolutions, and you're going to be stuck leaving it forever as an Eevee? I'm sorry, that's just asinine.
Well, spoilers, it's going to evolve into Gen 8 evolution.
Oh, goody, that's going to be the Pokemon you get at the very end. But, again, it defeats Eevee's entire purpose to not let it evolve. And if you do have Wild Pikachu and Wild Eevee that are going to be able to evolve anyway, what the heck is the point of your starter in the first place?
That's a good question.
Anyway.
That's a good question. Maybe there will be an answer. Maybe there won't be. Maybe the starter won't count toward your 6 Pokemon limit. Maybe there will be... We don't know nearly enough about the game to answer that question.
The fact that it even is a question, the fact that they even bothered to put an Eevee in the game that's not going to evolve, it's like I said, it's asinine. 100% asinine. You have a Pokemon whose title is the evolution Pokemon. Nope, it's not going to evolve.
You do realize the animated an episode 20 years ago about how it's okay for Eevees not to evolve, right? If they don't want to.
Yeah, but in that episode it also featured all of the other evolutions at the time.
Yeah, and the game can have all the other evolutions, it just has the one Eevee that won't evolve.
There's no point to... It's okay in the anime. There's no point of it in the game, though.
We will see.
Why would you ever want an Eevee with the lower base stats than any of its evolution? Why would you ever want a Pikachu with... Well, okay, Volt, the Light Orb, but... Even so...
There might be a Light Orb equivalent for Eevee in this game.
Maybe doubtful.
We'll see. There's no use worrying about that right now, about what the use of something will be in the game until we know how the game works.
I know how the game works. The game is a yellow remake that's got Pokemon Go features. That's all I need to know about the game. And really...
Yeah, well, then you can complain about something you can't ask what's the point and then say... And then when people say, we don't know yet, say, well, complain about that. I mean, the game's just been announced. It's normal that we don't know everything about it.
Very true. Anyway, bottom line is, well, I do understand why these games exist, and I really can't blame Nintendo because it does make sense. I really am taking a hard pass, and I'm not going to buy these games at all. So, like I said, I'm not getting my Switch until 2019, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
Well, I got my Switch back in 2017 and to play Breath of the Wild and Skyrim, so I'll be getting that game too.
To each their own. And I'm surprised...
Yeah, to each their own. You'll note that I did not fire you.
I was just about to say, I'm surprised I haven't gotten fired.
Well, we have 2 more questions, don't we?
I probably lost track of what you were saying once or twice, though.
That's fair.
Really, you could just have answered everything. That would.
Well, I don't hate everything.
Well, you haven't said anything you don't hate.
Okay, you could have said most everything. That would have been a pretty good summary.
I could have said pretty much everything, but then you wouldn't have gotten the detail or the well articulated argument.
And there we might have had a 1-hour podcast instead of however long this one's gonna be.
Uh,
And your humble opinions.
yes, well, my not so humble opinion.
I mean, it was an interesting opinion. There isn't much in it that I agree with, but it was an interesting opinion, and I think it's good that you actually said it, but I'm not going to stop teasing you about it.
Well, of course not. I expect nothing less.
Good. Glad we're on the same wavelength.
Well, that's the whole reason I wanted you here on this podcast, to be my foil.
Yep.
All right. So let's see.
I think there's a new question we're supposed to ask now.
I do see in the suggestions that we really don't want question 9. So we're just going to go on and we're going to finish up with question number 8, which is, depending on the sources, and there are plenty of sources that say one way, there are plenty of sources that say the other way. For the moment, I'm going to trust Masuda and the official after the official summary, Nintendo summary of the press release. I'm going to trust them, and I'm going to say that Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are not main series games. So are you disappointed that we're not getting a new core series game in 2018? And we'll start with Glik on this one.
Well, I don't really care what the interview said Masuda said when every single official Pokemon outlet has been very forward in saying it's a mainline game. It's a mainline game. That's the long and short of it.
See, I knew you would say that. That's why we started with you.
I don't really care about Let's Go. I'm not all doom-mongering like you, because I don't think this is where the main series is going. I think Let's Go is just going to be its own thing for the casual audience, and the regular Pokemon games will continue being the regular Pokemon games.
So this isn't a regular Pokemon game, but it's a main series game.
Yeah, I think they're going to have a separate main series, as much as that doesn't make sense.
Well, maybe it's like Coliseum and XD, where they were kind of their own thing. A little bit of both.
Coliseum and XD, those are considered side games, though.
This is a side game in the core series.
That's not even Game Freak, though. Yeah, but that's an entirely different developer.
Side series definition we made up on Bulbapedia that doesn't have any official standing.
But if Bulbapedia says it, doesn't it mean that it's automatically true?
Everyone knows we're in deep with the Nintendo guys and corporate and know everything that's going to happen.
Oh boy.
Uh-huh.
Before it happens, yes, of course.
Yep.
Yes, that's why it takes us weeks to finally get things barely up to date after a new game. We totally have inside information.
But I see this just being a remedy to the yearly Pokemon release that they've had the last few years. Instead of crapping out an Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon every other year, they're going to have the next Let's Go game.
Yeah.
And then they can actually have 2 years to develop the next core game.
That's pretty much how I see it too. Is I'm not disappointed by their existence this year, because it means that the actual core series game next year will be even better. And again, like I said, it means that I can push off buying a Switch until 2019. Guzma, what about you?
I'm actually pretty happy that these aren't main series games and that they're going to take more time for Gen 8, just because I don't want it to end up as another X and Y.
TeaWest, what about you?
I'm not really that disappointed. I'm kind of neither here or there. I think if people are going to enjoy it, great. If it's not for you, there's another game coming that will hopefully fill what you want from the series. So I think it's all right.
And in the meantime, I can play Platinum.
There you go. Or whatever you want to play.
DN, what about you?
Am I disappointed? Not really. I mean, I thought we got Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon way too quickly after Sun and Moon. I don't think I got enough time to properly enjoy Sun and Moon before the Ultra games came along. I like to take my time with games,
Yeah.
I'm never one of those I gotta be the first one to finish people. So yeah, I'm fine with waiting another year. Those people are weird.
Don't say that to the speed gamers.
Speed gamers who do it for charity, I have no problem with. Speed gamers who do it because they have to be the first to finish something, I don't get that.
As long as they aren't hurting anyone, I'm fine with it.
But yeah, regardless of whether you consider this a main series game or not, it does mean that Gen 8 is getting delayed for another year, and I'm perfectly okay with that. I'm perfectly fine with them delaying Gen 8 for another year. Like DN said, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon came out way too quickly after Sun and Moon did, and if they had waited one more year, if they had waited one more year, then I think that there would have been a little bit more time between Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and we would have, we would have actually appreciated Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon more, and maybe they could have actually taken a little more time and developed the things that were different between Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon and the original Sun and Moon a little more, so you wouldn't have Ultra Mega Hallway. So, yeah, I think that's about it. So, for once we're not going to end. Yeah, for once we're not going to end with me on a question. After you, Evie.
Woohoo! I get the last word in. Honestly, I mean, it was always a real possibility that there wouldn't be a new core game this year, because it's what Nintendo did the last generation too, and kind of the generation before that too. No, wait, not the generation before that, but yeah, Gen 6 was one game in 2013, one game in 2014, nothing in 2015. Gen 7, well, yeah, it was always a real possibility that we wouldn't get anything this year. Now, the problem I have with that is that if they keep the schedule, that means no Core Series game in 2021, which is the 25th anniversary of Pokemon.
I'm sure they'll come up with something.
That's going to be pretty weird if there's no big Core Series game released that year. So, yeah, I'm wondering how they're going to fix that. But, I mean, we'll see. I'm sure, like you said, I'm sure they'll come up with something.
Patterns are meant to be broken.
For the rest, honestly, it may not count as a Core Series game, but distinction between Core Series game and whatever Let's Go is seems pretty irrelevant. It's going to feel like a Core Series game when we play it because it has most of the core mechanism of a Core Series game. So that's what really matters, And yeah, I mean, and at the end, it just means that we get an extra game there that we probably wouldn't have gotten at all. Like, I don't think that we would have gotten Gen 8 this year if we hadn't gotten Let's Go. I think Let's Go is just filling a year that wouldn't have had a game otherwise.
It's 100%. It's a filler game, kind of like Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon were. But I wish we hadn't gotten anything last year, and I would have been okay with Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon this year.
I don't think we're going to see many dead years going on because I mean they've only had one of those in the since 1998. There's been 1 year where there wasn't a Core Series game released in either Japan or the United States. And that was 2015. That's the only year that they didn't release a main series game in since the game first came out in the US. So I don't think it's going to be too common to see dead years.
You're right. Dead years make no money.
That and dead years are boring for the fans. Like having to go 2 years without any Pokemon news, any Pokemon hype, any Pokemon games. The fandom hurts a lot when that happens. The fandom gets tense and bored, and lots of people just walk out because there's nothing happening.
we might actually get a break in the video game section on the forum.
And we've had that happen a lot during the Gen 2 wait, because Gen 2 took forever. Like, Gen 2 only had
I mean, dead years are bad.
the Gold and Silver, then later Crystal, and it was still a 3-year generation, and the wait hurt Pokemon a lot.
Dead years are bad, but I really don't want them to be consistently rushing content, and really it feels like Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon were rushed.
Yeah, they might have been rushed, but I mean, the timing between them and Sun and Moon is pretty much the same as it was between XY and Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. Like, it's 1 year between them.
But the difference is XY and Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire were completely different games.
Yeah, they would probably have done actually better to go to go Sun and Moon, then Let's Go, then.
But the problem is the Go connectivity with the Switch is probably what took them so long with this one.
Yeah, there is that. There is the fact that if they had gone with a Switch game for the middle game, it would have been extremely hard to justify
Going back to the 3DS.
Back with the 3DS in 2018. So yeah, the console Switch really limited their options there. I think in that situation, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon had to come out last year. But yeah,
if Nintendo didn't want a dead year for Pokemon, which I can understand why they would, then yeah, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon kinda had to come out last year.
Tell you what, it's not just Nintendo that doesn't want a dead year.
Right.
We don't want a dead year. That dead years hurt Bulbacast, and dead years are hell for us.
Yeah.
It's fair, but I do wish that there had been a little bit more time to do Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon correctly.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that's the greatest regret about Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, because there are a lot of things about it that I like and a lot of things that I feel like could have been better, but we're way, way, way off topic now.
Yeah, we are. And we're way off time.
Yes, we are. So we're not going to ask about Pokemon Quest because I feel like there's not a lot to say there. So we're just going to go and ask our very last unofficial question, which is Pikachu or Eevee? And we'll start with TeaWest on this one.
I would do Pikachu.
DN?
Eevee!
Eevee, do I even need to ask?
No, you don't. I will be using the Eevee version.
Glik?
Whichever copy I can find cheaper.
Assuming they're the same price?
Well, used games will have some price variation.
Fair enough. Guzma?
Wimpod.
Brilliant. I guess in that case for me it's going to be Beldum. No, if I were to buy one of the versions, it would be Eevee, but since I'm not going to buy one of the versions...
And with that...
Well, moot point. Alright, well...
Yep.
Whew, I'm glad I got all that off my chest. And yeah, I know I'm being cranky, and I know that I'm definitely in the minority when it comes to a lot of opinions, but it's very good to have dissenting voices every once in a while. So...
Yeah, I feel like this is more interesting than all of us just sitting around the table, slapping each other on the back. Yeah, it's going to be great.
And
Yeah. There's a reason I didn't fire you, you know?
Right, and believe me, A, I'm not just doing this for the ratings. B, I actually do believe what I'm saying to a certain degree, but I'm kind of hyping it up just a wee bit.
Gotta add the drama.
Oh, yeah, I know you are, and I know you are on both cases. I mean, and it's good. It's good that you are... I mean, we're all kind of exaggerating our opinion a little bit to make them more interesting. Otherwise, it would be boring.
Can't have a podcast without a little drama, am I right?
So someone has to play devil's advocate, and it might as well be the person who doesn't believe in the devil. Anyway,
That makes sense, I think. I'm not sure.
It makes about as much sense as anything that I say.
So why is ME free from firing for his opinions, but I'm not?
Because Emmy made thoughtful long-winded arguments, and interrupting him would have caused those points to drag on even further. And also, they were. I don't agree with those points, but I can respect them. You just diss black and white every chance you get.
I explained the first time.
You gave no good reason.
I did.
No, you
I
didn't.
said N was a loser. That's a good reason.
All right.
We're not having that debate again. You gave no good reason.
Alright, and enough of this before Glik gets fired again. But yeah, so thanks to all of you for joining me for today and for putting up with my incessant ranting. And thanks always to our audience for listening. I do hope that my angry rants did provide some moderate entertainment. And now, we'll take a trip across the Atlantic Ocean and join Saph and the Eurocasters.
Bonjour everyone and welcome in the European segment of the, 12th Bulbacast, something like that. I'm Sapphire, your favorite dolphin, or not, and once again I'll be your host today as we talk about E3. And since I don't care much about E3 myself, I'll have some quality casters with me. Wait, apparently new Pokémon games have been announced? Okay, maybe I'll have something to say about those. Anyway, no one cares about me, not even myself, so casters. We have a new caster today. Hello, Chef.
Hello, Sapphire, and thank you for letting me be here. Well, I am a graphic artist at Bulbacast, and from now on I'm also a caster here, so...
Well, we're glad to have you on board of this European Bulbacast, and people might have already seen you during the hackathon last time.
Yeah, the hackathon was also, well, that was my first open debut as a staff member, at least in social media department.
Back at the hackathon, there was also Darth. Hello, Darth, you're here too.
Hi guys, glad to be back.
And we have LG here.
I'm back, baby. And with the Euros this time.
Yay! We're glad to have you with us.
Hooray!
And yeah, we're glad to have you in the European segment as well. Welcome here.
Yep.
So as I said, we'll begin with E3. E3 is already next weekend. So what are you looking forward to the most about E3? Darth, if you don't mind starting.
Sure. E3 for me, basically every year it happens, it's like I have no expectations at all. But when something big happens that does interest me, then the fun starts. So at this point I'm like, okay, E3, cool, gotta stick around for the news, see what's gonna happen. Not really anything to look forward to, but I'm hoping something will excite me at least.
Okay, LG, what about you?
The big thing I'm excited for is finally getting that sweet, sweet release date for Kingdom Hearts 3. If the game is dropping this year, then this is pretty much their last chance to announce the release date, short of dropping it in some random trailer later in the year.
Okay, Chef, what about you?
Well, I'm really hoping for some Smash news and hopefully a release date for that. Yeah, since they said it would be 2018, I really hope they're sticking to that.
I'm not sure if Nintendo will reveal that at E3 though. I mean, it's Nintendo, they might do it separately.
They might do it separately, they might do something different this time and do it at E3. We don't know.
Okay, you kind of answered that already, but are there any games in particular, other than those you already mentioned, that you'd like to hear about? LG?
Well, we've already heard about Kingdom Hearts 3, but I'm really interested in hearing a bit more about that Team Sonic racing. Because from what I've seen from the Walmart leaks, it sounds pretty interesting for a racing game.
Okay.
So like a sequel to that older racing game with Sonic?
No, I don't think so. I think it's like its own self-contained thing. But I don't know, apparently from what I've gotten from the Walmart leaks, it looks like it's like Sonic Heroes in cars or something.
Okay.
That sounds really interesting.
Sonic Car. Okay, Chef, what about you?
Well, as I said, some Smash news would be appreciated. Besides that, maybe something more about Let's Go, but we'll talk about that later, I believe. And I don't think it will happen, but maybe something about the core series game that will drop in 2019.
What about you, Darth?
I'm kind of similar as Chef at this point, both looking forward to Smash and the new main series Pokemon. But as I just said, I don't think they'll announce it here, especially the new Pokemon game, given that they just press conference, which they just said, yeah, new game next year, but that's it. Although they might give the big review for a big new game at the E3. That works. But I don't know. It's Nintendo. You never know what to expect from them at E3.
Yeah, I mean,
I do hope to see some info about it though.
I mean, they don't even call that a presentation. They call that a press conference. While the other game makers call that presentations or stuff like that. But well, as you said, that's Nintendo.
Maybe not something game related to here at E3, but maybe they'll announce new amiibo.
Another Labo set.
That can actually work, you know.
A whole set of Mario Tennis amiibos.
Oh god, no.
Oh yeah, please give them.
They might do that.
And half of the presentation is just tennis amiibo.
Again.
No, the presentation is just some guys holding a small table tennis ball, playing with amiibos, flipping it back and forth, just playing there. And we're like, so when can we play this game? And also, it has in-game features. And the crowd will be sold.
I totally expect them to be like, at least have some part of it be directed to Mario Tennis, since that will release the week after E3 is done. So they might be like, here's some small additional information we have not shared yet, just to make you more excited.
Yeah.
I think they might show a launch trailer, but that's it.
No, I think they'll announce
maybe you have some info. But
new suits for characters with amiibos, like they did in Mario Kart. No, but really, I think they'll do that.
I would totally be okay with that. I would like that.
They're gonna announce Mario Odyssey DLC, calling it.
Yes, give me Mario Odyssey DLC. I have finished the game twice now, but I want to return to it so badly.
Hey, Mario Tennis Odyssey.
I would play that.
I was gonna say.
So you have 2v2 with a Mario and Luigi, and the other players control the caps, so you can freely move around in the volleyball minigame, which is pretty OP.
No, Cappy is the ball.
It is. That would be amazing.
Oh, and if you actually score points, Cappy will possess one player and will be a 3v1.
Oh.
Yeah. That would be unbalanced.
Yes, but it will be fun.
If they do that...
No. They're gonna announce, Mario Odyssey Party.
Oh, no. Not another Mario Party. They've had, 15 of those? Or am I just overestimating the popularity of the Mario Party now?
But there isn't one on Switch yet. That's one of their favorite Mario games to make on consoles, on home consoles.
Yeah, they need to release something to utterly crush friendships with.
So true.
LG, they already have Mario Kart.
Yeah.
They don't need another thing.
I was about to say that.
Mario Kart is pretty good at that. Alright, personally, I'd love to hear about a GTA 6, but one can only hope. If you had to pick one dark horse candidate for a game or franchise that you think we're going to hear about at E3, which do you think it will be?
Wait, hold on. Before I move to the next question. Why does the cop have interest in GTA?
Oh, good question.
Please, I am a good citizen in GTA.
You stop at stoplights?
I never kill cops.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from that...
Sure.
How do you beat the game?
Favoritism much?
Well, except in missions, but that doesn't count.
That doesn't count.
So, Chef, one dark horse candidate for a game that you think we're going to hear about at E3?
A game that I don't think we will hear about, but a game that I want them to talk about is maybe something like Duck Hunt HD. Return to the classics in a new style. I mean, since they have put Duck Hunt in Smash, there might be a chance.
Don't they have this?
Please do it, Nintendo.
Don't they have this sensor in the right Joy-Con that can aim at the screen?
I believe that doesn't work on the screen, but that it is for hand gestures and such.
Oh, okay.
Hey, what about Pong? But to move the racket things, you have to slide the Joy-Cons.
Oh my god. Saph, you're a genius.
That would be fun.
Copyright this.
LG, what about you?
I'd really like to hear about a new Kid Icarus game. Uprising was super fun, and I'd just love to get a new one.
Okay. And you, Darth?
But maybe what would be interesting is a new Yu-Gi-Oh! Video game.
Oh, yeah.
Given that's for a while, there's like a new meta with the Link monsters, which I don't think there's a game having that yet. So,
what was the most recent Yu-Gi-Oh! Game release?
most recent I can remember, don't know the title, but that was including Arc V, so Pendulum is in there.
Okay, so the actual Link monsters aren't in there yet. Okay, well...
No, so that would be something.
If they're going to do something with that, I mean...
I doubt that's something you'll see at E3, but hey,
yeah,
a man can only hope.
I mean, that will probably be in Indies, so...
A man can only trust in host cards.
That is totally true.
Okay, so we kind of speculated over this a little already, but what do you think the highlights of the Nintendo presentations are gonna be, aside from the Splatoon 2 tournaments that we already know about? And no more tennis! LG, if you want to start.
I'm gonna say at least one Smash newcomer. If that's releasing in this year, there's got to be at least one or two revealed at E3. I'm thinking that's going to be a standout feature of the Nintendo presentation.
Did you just...
I just.
Pick a standout reference. Awesome.
Guys, don't. But I totally agree with Smash. This would be the perfect time to put some more hype on Smash. And what better way to do that than with characters, especially new ones.
That would be cool. What I think they will do is maybe they're gonna show a trailer with no info beforehand. And you're like, oh, hey, a new game, or like a sequel from an older game with a well-known character. And then it's like, boom, characters from other franchises appear on the screen, and the people are like, wait a second, hold on, we made a sequel to Smash. Character confirmed for Smash. It's like that trailer from Smash 4 with Shulk, and suddenly Bowser appears.
Or the Animal Crossing one, where they revealed it.
Oh yeah, for example, like that.
That also reminds me of it.
Yeah, and RoseyHyena was like disguised as a new Kirby Air Ride game.
Oh, yeah, that would be funny. Like, it would be amazing if they, like, for example, Bandana Waddle Dee would have a trailer with Bandana Waddle Dee, so everyone would just assume it's a Kirby game. And then, well, Kirby walks in, Luigi walks in, Mario walks in.
Silence. Crazy crowd.
They would all turn to Mario and be like, wait, what are you doing here? It would be funny to see.
Now that you remind me, that Animal Crossing trailer is kind of more similar to the Splatoon one we already got with that character. As at that point you also saw the first reveal of like the Smash logo in more casual way, in Animal Crossing at least, with like the letter stamp.
Yeah, you're right with that, but I mean, why?
But it has the same style, yeah.
Why not more? It was a fun reveal.
And then, boom, Smash Amiibos.
Exactly, oh yeah. Yes, please. Give me more Amiibo.
Don't make me waste more money, please.
What? Make him waste more money, please.
Okay, any other ideas, aside from more Amiibos? And more tennis?
Amiibo.
Well,
Mario Party.
I think the highlights will be, well, of course, the Splatoon tournaments, some Smash news. Well, tennis might be mentioned, I don't know, but that won't be a highlight. Well, maybe they...
Wait.
Yeah?
What was it? Metroid 4 also going to be at E3?
Metroid Prime 4. I don't know if they confirmed that to be at E3, but it is coming out sometime. And, well, I mean, Metroid is relatively popular, so it might be a highlight then.
Well, it might not be confirmed, not sure about that, but it's probably something that will show. But like will be a highlight.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm just scared that they will focus too much on one specific thing, like they did one of the previous directs with Mario Tennis, where half the direct was about tennis. That was just... They could have handled that better, in my opinion, and I hope they won't repeat that with E3.
Fair enough.
You know what they're gonna talk about? That everyone forgot?
Oh.
Arms.
Oh, right, that's a thing.
Oh, no, please, no. Yeah, I mean, I would totally expect one of like Springman or Ribbon Girl to be like a newcomer in Smash, just to either hype that up a bit more.
What's gonna happen?
Or, well, I mean, they're a unique fighting style. It's close combat but on long range.
True, but it's arms.
Yeah, exactly. They fight with their arms.
I think they already know who the finalists will be for the ARMS tournament, because they'll be the only two who... No? Okay.
Finish your sentence.
The only two who wanted to participate, but okay. That was a bad joke.
Wait, there are 2 participants?
No, it was like there will be only 2 participants, so...
Because no one wants to play, I get it now.
Everyone knows they'll be the finalists. Okay.
I mean, one thing I hope they will do is, like, as mentioned before, Super Mario Odyssey DLC, or Super Luigi Odyssey. I mean, I would be up for that. A sequel already, but...
No, there's no sequel, it's too early.
No, yeah, it is, but, I mean... It would be a massive stunt of them if they would do that. But yeah, just give me some more Mario Odyssey, please. I want more.
Wait, there's no Yoshi game on the Switch yet, right?
No.
Yeah, they teased it.
They have announced one. They teased it at the same time as they teased the Kirby game, Kirby Star Allies. But we have no further information about Yoshi as far as I know.
Oh.
So,
was there a name announced?
No, I don't think so.
No.
That'll be Super Yoshi Odyssey.
Oh, yes, yeah. Give me Super Blank Odyssey, please. And every character.
I wouldn't be surprised if they announced another HD version of an old Zelda game.
Oh, yeah, Skyward Sword. Totally.
I mean, that can happen next. I mean, the last one was...
Twilight Princess.
Was it Twilight Princess or Wind Waker?
Oh no, Wind Waker did come out after.
I think it was Twilight Princess.
Anyway, Twilight Princess and Wind Waker are both GameCube. And Twilight Princess also Wii, but... So the next step would be to go to the Wii, where it says Skyward Sword. So maybe.
Or DS HD remakes.
Yeah, they'll probably put it to the Switch.
For example, the Mimish Cap.
Oh, like that, like...
I don't think they have HD'd and made an HD remake of that yet. So
True.
And since this is a mobile platform,
Come on, Spirit Tracks HD.
Breath of the Wild remake. That can also work. Maybe original in HD.
that would be amazing. But that would be a bit more along the lines of Hyrule Warriors then.
Hyrule Warriors Deluxe HD.
Where you play... I'm already playing that.
No, you're not playing Hyrule Warriors Deluxe HD, you're playing Hyrule Warriors Deluxe.
Edition.
Sure.
No, wait, it was Definitive Edition.
Anyway.
Alright.
No, I was about to say, I think we know what the question.
Well...
Unless someone else wants to add something.
I don't know.
I mean, I think we have stretched this question long enough.
Yeah.
Well, we can stretch as much as you like, as long as you have something to say. Well, say it.
Give me a Goofy movie game.
Yes!
I mean, there...
Well,
it would be funny.
There was that Goof Troop game on the SNES, which was apparently really fun.
There is.
What? There was?
Yeah.
I did not know that. Okay then.
I saw a video of the completionist recently about it.
Oh, cool.
Okay, well, thank you for your input about E3. You might have seen, by chance, that Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee have officially been announced.
What? No way.
And as was suspected by many people, they'll have connectivity with Pokemon Go. What are your thoughts on this, Chef? If you don't mind starting.
I think the Pokemon Go connectivity is really good. We'll bring new Pokemon players. Well, it will bring Pokemon Go players into the core series, which will earn more money for Game Freak and Nintendo, which they might invest in the next Pokemon game, which will give us better games, which will, well, be more fun for us. So, I totally encourage the connectivity. I don't know how much I will go and do with that, but I just realized I made a pun, not intended. But I'm okay with the Go connectivity.
Okay, that's an interesting point of view. Darth?
Let's go. What? No, I mean I know about this, of course, but it's like for me it was not that interesting in the initial view, as it's like Go related, and I don't play Go myself. So I'm like, okay, it's from my point of view a Go sequel who's moved on to the Switch, but still related to it. So it will definitely, well, not definitely. It's like a bridge between casual player and quote unquote hardcore players. And like what they probably want to do with this is to make a bridge between casual and hardcore to get a bigger audience. As far as I've seen, opinions going around, some people love this, so it's like it increases in popularity, but others hate it, as in they get people in there that are not like not to go hating them, but like they're not like pure blood, if you know what I mean by that. They're not like true fans, they're just casuals that play Go.
They're mudbloods.
Maybe. So there might be some hate between the community then, which could be a bad thing. But the fact that they do connect it to Go, which is still going on, surprisingly, is pretty interesting. And I do think that, although this game, in my opinion, is not a game for me, it might have a good lead to the next main game.
This game will totally is connecting with Go. Next game will totally be connected with this one, so Go and the main games will be connected then. I don't think it will happen, but it would be fun if that would happen.
LG, what about you?
Yeah, so Chef and Darth have pretty much said pretty much my thoughts exactly. Like, yeah, it's a good thing that it's going to happen. I don't really care, but I mean, it's good. It brings in more people to coming into the series. More money, better games, in theory. So, yeah, good thing all around.
Well, as for me, I'll just play it as a spin-off with not much interest. I'll probably get it so I can stream it, but I'm not really excited about it. I'm just a little disappointed that the first Pokemon game to be released on Switch won't be a core series game. And I hope that Pokemon Go won't be absolutely necessary to, like, complete the Pokédex or whatever. Right.
I do agree that not being the first game on Switch as being a main game is kind of disappointing. But I think it will... I think it just needed more time, first of all, to, like, develop, especially after Ultra Moon. Because if you do it now, it would be pretty fast. Which what happened with the Ultra games was it released pretty soon after the regular Sun and Moon, which caused that some fans lost appeal to it, as it was too similar and too soon after each other.
Yeah, if we would have a core series game this year, it would be the third core game in 3 years. I think that would be way too fast.
So yeah, it's on the one side it's kind of sad not a main game. On the other side, it's kind of good it's not this fast at least.
Yeah, but I was gonna say it later, but I'll say it now. I wouldn't have been disappointed if we didn't have a Pokemon game this year, and I'd have to wait for next year. I'm just disappointed that the first Pokemon game on Switch won't be a core series one. Just if they, I don't know.
Well, every year has a Pokemon game, at least one, so...
Yeah, but they could have released one on 3DS or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll release those things on 3DS anymore.
Pokemon Quest. It is a Pokemon game on Switch, so technically that is the first
True.
Pokemon game to be released on Switch.
True.
I don't know if that's better or worse.
But we'll talk about Quest later.
Yeah.
So given what we've seen about the new upcoming Pokemon Let's Go games, what are you most looking forward about those games? LG?
I am looking forward to absolutely nothing.
Okay.
I'm glad the game exists. It brings more players into the series, which is good, but the games are not for me in any way, shape, or form.
Maybe you could get exclusive Pokemon that you can then transfer to the next game. What about that?
They'll stand out.
You mean those Pokemon that I can get from Ultra Sun and Moon anyway?
I believe at the end of the Let's Go trailer, they showed a box opening with maybe a new Pokemon or something special in it, which we don't know the contents of yet. So
we all know it's Mew.
It might be Mew. It isn't confirmed yet. If it would be a new Pokemon that would only be released in Let's Go, then, well, you kind of would have to get Let's Go to get a Pokemon.
No.
Or trade.
No.
Pokemon.
I would have to just accept the fact that I'm not getting that Pokemon because I'm not buying Let's Go for any reason. Or, as you said, I would just trade for it with someone else. But you're not going to get me to buy Let's Go.
It's gonna be Pokemon like Zeraora. It's gonna be Pokemon like Zeraora or Lucario, which a lot will love, and then he's like struggling internally. But on what you just Chef, what you just said about on being confirmed to be Mew, if it's a new Pokemon, then it will also be in Pokemon Go. It won't be the only game. And
true.
That made me actually question. I don't think you can, as far as I know at least currently, you can trade to the normal main series games, because they don't have levels, they have like CP in this game.
They also have levels.
They have both.
So you can't trade with that. Oh, they also have levels?
Yeah, they have both.
Oh, they have both. Oh, okay, but...
Which is kind of confusing me, like how that would work, but...
Well, maybe just for the reason of trading, although, what do you trade to?
It will probably be for evolving Pokemon, since you won't, like, I don't think you will catch Pokemon to get candies to get your Pokemon to evolve, and I also don't think they would force you to trade your Pokemon to Go, evolve it there, and then trade it back.
No, it won't happen. No, but my point was that if it's a new Pokemon, you only have it in that game, not your main series. Which means in the next main series game it will also release, so they can also get it.
Or you can just, if the Switch notices you have that the game on your Switch, it will send it over to the new game. That might also be possible, just like with the demos.
Then we're gonna hate it even more.
Yep.
Okay, anything else you're looking forward to about Pokemon Let's Go?
Well, the new graphics look amazing in my opinion, and I mean, exploring Kanto again for the X number of times, it will be fun to see what changed since the last time. And since it is rumored to be...
my money's on nothing.
It is rumored to be a sequel of some kind, I believe. So, if it would be a sequel, then it would either happen before or after Gold and Silver. And if it happens after, then I'd be very curious to see what has changed more.
Masuda said it'd take back the region and the story of Yellow though, so I'm not sure it'll take place after Yellow.
No, it just based on Yellow.
Yeah, they said it's gonna stick to pretty much the same plot beats as Yellow.
Okay, then I must have missed that. But yeah. Well, I'm just excited about the new graphics, and in my opinion, it looks amazing.
Well, in my opinion, they look subpar for the Switch.
It's weird. It's a different style, let's say that for now. But what I do think is that depending on how this game will work out and how the views will be after release, it might have some positive effects on the main game for next year. For example, graphic might change for better or worse, let's hope better. But the fact that you have a Pokemon on your shoulder or walking around is really promising for the next game. I mean, if they can do it now, why for the next game?
You can ride around on an Onix.
Sure, it requires more Pokemon models. You need to do every single one. But is that really an issue?
I believe the walking animation of every single Pokemon was already found in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon.
Yeah, but they didn't use it for some reason.
Well, they used some.
Yeah, oh well. Yeah, the wild Pokemon that you find around town, you mean?
Yeah.
Or well, the Pokemon from trainers, etc. Yeah.
The overworld, basically.
But there are like 4 or 5. And...
We're not following you.
I mean, that's just way too many Pikachu. But
yeah.
What I do want to see, though, given the trailer, is you did see at some point a Pokecenter. And you also at some point saw the trainer riding on an Onix with proportionally correct size compared to the trainer, unlike Heart Gold Soul Silver. So, I just imagine the trainer going in with the Onix. Like, there's just this comic online made by someone where you just enter and in Heart Gold Soul Silver, you have a sprite behind you. Then the small comic, the Onix just bursts through the building because it's way too big. So I want to see what happens in that game then, if an Onix also enters that building with that size.
I believe it would just return to the Pokeball.
Oh, but that's no fun, though.
That's sad.
Would be the easiest to do, but it is not. But I mean, like, think realistically. If your Onix had fainted, how would you get it to the Pokemon Center? Well, you return it. Then
it wouldn't be walking around.
No, true, but like, I think they would just like return to the Pokeball and then go in. Though I have to think, if you make the mistake of not getting off of the Onix before returning it, then I just think that Onix wouldn't be able to enter the Pokemon Center by himself.
I just hope you won't be able to have like a Wailord following you on land. That would be so weird.
It's just Gen 1.
You wouldn't. It's just Gen 1, so... I mean, Magikarp, though.
But yeah, any fish? Just imagine a Goldeen going around.
Gyarados. Goldeen. Splash.
Gyarados can just go for land.
Splash.
Goldeen is just splashing, like Magikarp.
Exactly, splashing up a mountain.
That's Magikarp's thing.
Yeah.
Well, we did see that clip in the trailer of Magikarp just like splashing up into space.
Fish are boring. Uh-huh.
I think that is the animation for Pounce.
Could be.
No one's like but space.
I mean, a new Pokemon game set in space. I would love that.
Meet the Deoxys and Rayquaza. That's all you can catch. Have fun.
Lunatone, Solrock?
Nah, they crashed.
Minier, BDM, LGM.
Nah. Just denying your possibilities.
Shortest answer ever. Nah.
You know what can happen though? Pikachu in spacesuit.
I would love that. Give me a Ralts in spacesuit though.
Nah.
So aside from what we talked about what you'd like to see in the game. What have you seen so far that you don't like or are apprehensive about from the Let's Go games? Darth?
Well, we kind of discussed this already in the fact that it's basically a Pokemon Go game. If you're not into Go, then this doesn't really appeal to you either. And if you're not just a casual player, then the fact that for example, have like not the main game formula like you go catch wild Pokemon does push people away from the game, as it's not what they want from Pokemon. It's different. It just go in a bigger story setting. Sure, you can say, what about Colosseum or Stadium? Things where you also don't go in wild battles. Sure, Stadium is just a stadium game where you just battle with better graphics, but as you said, graphics aren't that spectacular compared to what we already have. It's already 3D. And with the Colosseum and XD games, you catch Pokemon from other trainers in still a normal catching way with a new and unique, in my opinion, cool story. Well, this is just basically Yellow Remake, if you want to say that, but different. So you're not going to experience anything new, And yeah, it's like you can just see it's meant for the more casual player, not for the veterans. So I think that in the end, it's not going to be something that all the veteran players are going to buy. Maybe try it out, but it's not going to be a big hype.
Cheff, something you're apprehensive about?
Well, I don't really like the fact that the wild battles have completely changed now, since, well, it's not really a battle anymore. But other than that, well, if it really is just a remake of Yellow, then, well, I would like to see some more changes to the story. But yeah, I'd be fine with the other stuff that we know as of now.
LJ, I suppose you don't care because you're not going to play it anyway?
Oh, well, not exactly, but I mean, you could at least ask. I mean, jeez.
I'm asking.
Probably the biggest thing I'm apprehensive about is that there's apparently no battle spot and no GTS, yet they apparently think that what online they will have is apparently worth the online subscription fee. And I'm just not sure what could possibly be worth that without a GTS or a battle spot.
What are you talking about?
I've seen stuff that said that there won't be any online, any of the normal online stuff, like no GTS and no...
Oh no, there's no online, there's only offline co-op for 2 players.
But I have seen them say that there is some online stuff, just not the normal stuff.
Okay, I don't remember that.
I don't know, there's a lot of wacky, conflicting information going around out there.
Yeah, well...
That's why you have to wait for a release to have proper answers.
Yeah, or the announcers from Nintendo Game Freak themselves. So, but yeah, speculators gonna speculate in gonna fake leak.
We said Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee aren't main series games. Are you disappointed that we're not getting a new core series game in 2018? I know we've kind of answered that already, but if you want to talk a little more about that.
Well, I am completely fine with no core game in 2018. I think they're taking a wise choice by leaving it here, since not everybody has enough money to buy a new core series game every single year.
Or 2.
Or 2 exactly. I mean, I would be fine with them waiting at least 2 years for every main series game. Just release it every odd year. But I mean, it's a company. They're gonna try and release as much as possible because more means more money. So yeah, I mean, I'm not disappointed or anything.
LG?
Yeah, I never really expected a core game in 2018 anyway. It just felt way too soon for the amount of development effort you'd imagine would have to go into a full-scale Switch game. So yeah, I'm actually kind of glad it's not going to be released until 2019, because that just means there's more time for them to polish the game and make sure it's all good on release.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
I totally agree with your point, LG, that if they would release a core series game this year, I believe it would just they would either fudge up with the graphics or with the story and making it not interesting enough. Well, they would only have 1 year of production time, or a bit more if they started before the Awesome came out.
They'll probably have more as they have multiple development teams.
They probably do, but that would mean they split manpower, which would still mean that it's a lesser game, in my opinion.
It doesn't have to be. Sometimes you have too many people working on something. It's Nintendo, it's big enough. Or Game Freak.
You're right. Well, it's Game Freak.
True. About Game Freak, though, it's like everyone was like, yeah, it's Game Freak, it's gonna be a new main game, because Game Freak makes the main games. Now it's just like, doesn't feel like the right time for a main game, and if they do, it's gonna be rushed. So I'm glad to see indeed that it's not a main game, as I said earlier. And the fact that it's still Game Freak, but it's actually Pokemon Quest. Or was it Let's Go? It was Game Freak.
Let's Go was Game Freak.
Well, I believe Let's Go was Game Freak.
Okay. But either way, I'm just glad to see, like, hey, I was right all along. I'm probably guessing that the main game will be in, like, the holiday season next year, around, like, November, which is the latest releases have been anyway. So it's, like, more than a year from now, so I feel like we'll have enough time for that.
They have announced that it would be late 2019, so at least in the second half. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. Then November makes sense for holiday season.
Yeah, I mean they might do it in October, late October, but I think late October, early November is the time they would release it.
Probably, maybe a bit later.
I mean that usually is the Pokemon time, if I recall correctly. I believe at least Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon have been released in November. So
yeah, and end November for the holiday season, which is like end November till end December, basically.
So, as you already mentioned it, another game has been announced along with Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, and that's Pokemon Quest, which is already available on Switch and will soon be on mobile if it isn't already.
It is not, I believe. I believe it will be released June 6th, I think.
Alright. I personally tested it on stream last Friday, and since I said stream, I'll do some self-promotion. So, if you're listening to this podcast, did you know that we're streaming live on Twitch? We stream stuff on twitch.tv/bulbagarden nearly every evening, so please tune in, and you can come to our Discord server by going to discord.gg/bulbagarden, or just watching our Twitter channel at bulbagarden to know when we're going live. We're not only playing Pokemon, but a lot of other stuff too. But anyway, back to Pokemon Quest. Did you play it on Switch yet? Do you plan on playing it on mobile whenever it releases? Did you buy or do you plan to buy the DLCs? Or in a few words, what is your stance on cubes? Darth?
I haven't played it on Switch as I have no Switch yet. So that's one thing. When I saw it, was like, oh sure, I'll give it a try. Opens phone, goes to Play Store. Not available. But it was available now. Checks. Mobile is somewhere in June. Okay, never mind then. I'll wait.
Soon.
So
I just checked. They said late June this year they would release it on phone.
oh, okay, but yeah, it might be something I'm like gonna try out, but it's not something that I'll be sticking to. I'm not really a mobile gamer. And about the blocks, it's an interesting style. It certainly has like the side game vibe and style to it, but that's fine. I'm just like, it's just one of those random games which is only quote unquote popular because it has Pokemon in them. If it was the same game but with just random monsters or whatever else with the same mechanics, it wouldn't be as popular and not even slightly interesting to me. So, it's just a Pokemon skin on a game, which in my opinion is like, meh, it's alright. Gonna test it, see what it's like, but probably not gonna do much with it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Chef, what about you?
I have played it a bit, and I quite like it. I have, I believe, completed the second world, and I'm almost done with the third world. And, well, besides the fact that I, up till now, only got normal Pokemon and a Buizel, luckily, I think, yeah, it just takes long to obtain new Pokemon, but I think it's fun. It is a mobile...
Would you say it's too slow? Or...
well, it's a mobile game, or at least made as a mobile game, even on Switch, and mobile games are supposed to be slow, in my opinion. They are supposed to... you're supposed to, like, play on them for a while, and then, yeah, yeah, well, it's just a mobile game.
Fair enough. That's how mobile games are kind of built, so.
Exactly. And I quite like that they went with this way, and I love the block style. It's yeah. I like to see my the favorite Pokemon that I've known all these years, and well, cube style that is not fan made.
Waiting for Lego merchandise.
Oh God, no! Please, no!
I know they've already done something with it.
LG, what about you? Did you test it?
Nah, I've been told that it's pretty much just Pokemon Rumble with Minecraft graphics. And, like... Yeah, and I've always really just thought of Rumble as just okay. Like, I'll play it, but probably not really sink money into it. The cubes are interesting, but kind of weird. Like, it's like early Pixelmon stuff. Yeah, so just all in all, nothing about it really stands out to me all that much.
I mean, it really gives off a Pokemon Rumble Pixelmon vibe. You're right with that, but I don't know. I myself quite like the Pokemon Rumble games, and they're just really unique and take on what they could do with it.
Well, as for me, as I said, I played it a little, and well, not too bad. What I'm really impressed about it, and wasn't expecting when I was told this would be a Pokemon craft, is that you can still recognize the Pokemon with just their silhouette, actually, despite them being, well, cubes. When I saw cubes, at first I was like, eee, what is that thing? Abort! But well, it's fun. But honestly, it's a mobile game. There was absolutely no reason to release it on Switch.
I like the description Lone gave about being a Rumble-ish game. And its gameplay looks kind of similar to it. And Rumble also has that unique style of being like toys with like a spinning thing on the back. But it has like Lego blocks. It's like a spiritual sequel to Rumble.
It really is. I think they did a good job with Rumble. Kind of, well, got less and less popular over the years. And this is basically a reimagining of what it could be. And they made it free, so, I mean, why not try it out?
Does anyone have something to add about anything we talked today?
Nah, not really.
Nope.
No.
No, well, I mean, hyped to see Smash, hopefully. I really hope we're going to see Smash though, but, I mean, otherwise, no.
One last fun question, not per se Let's Go related, but in general. Pikachu or Eevee?
Eevee.
Definitely Eevee.
For me, Eevee in both cases.
Yeah, okay, so it's 1% Eevee here. It's all Let's Go Eevee.
Yeah.
So there you have it. Bulbacast Euro is for Eevee.
Now watch the Americans be for Pikachu.
Eurocast is Eevee.
I mean, both start with an E. It was meant to be.
The EU is Eevee United.
The United States?
Yeah.
So, Lone, when are you gonna join the Eevee United? AKA, when are you gonna come to the EU?
Probably for a long time.
You're boring.
That costs money, dude.
Fine. Wait. How far is Japan for you? Is it doable? Maybe we should go to Australia.
Guys, seriously? At least include me in it, then.
No, we can sing Stand Out live, face to face.
Fair point.
Do that sometime.
Alright, then I think I can wrap it up if we're done. So, first, thanks a lot to all of you, because since I only answered like half the questions myself, it would have been quite empty without you. And I really hope I'll see you again soon for the next Bulbacast. That will basically be reactions to the E3 presentations. So thanks and bye everyone. And I talked about Twitch earlier, I talked about E3, but I forgot to tell you. Wait, I didn't forget to tell you, but I wanted to keep that for the end of the cast. We might be streaming a live reaction session to the Nintendo's E3 press conference on June 12 at noon Eastern, 6 p.m. Central European Summer Time, so you'll have our comments right as stuff is being revealed. That will be only if we have enough staff members available though, and that'll just be reactions, not a real Bulbacast like this one. But we will have a full-length Bulbacast live on Twitch again soon, and this time that's not a maybe, because the next Bulbacast I said earlier would be reactions to the E3 presentations, will be recorded live on Twitch. We will give you the date soon, and we hope you'll tune in, and maybe we'll have some time to answer your questions. Thanks a lot for listening to us European weirdos, well, especially me, and LG. Not that he's a weirdo, but he's not European. And I'll assume our European segment will be second in the final video. So I remind you that you can, if you want, if you like this, give the video a like. If you have any comment, you can comment down below, whether you liked it or not. As long as it's a constructive comment, we'll really appreciate it. If you don't want to miss any of our videos, you can subscribe to the channel. And if, like me, you're thirsty, I recommend the Evian spring water, which is made in our French Alps. And I think we'll edit that out, right?
And that's a wrap for this episode, folks. Thanks for everyone who participated in the recording and editing of this episode, especially since there wasn't a lot of time between the recording and airing of the episode, and because my long-windedness meant that this episode is going to drag on for 2 hours. Thanks. 12. Thanks to our staff artists for the wonderful avatars that we use for this series, and now, as Saph mentioned, please keep an eye out for the upcoming live reactions to E3, and for our E3 reaction live cast, which should be airing next Sunday. I'll get back to you all when we have a more specific time. In the meantime, please comment below about what you're looking forward to about E3, and what your thoughts are on the Let's Go games and Quest. That's all for now, and I will see you all next time.
To